Hey everyone. Yep, it's possible another storm coming through for the prairie provinces and for the northern plains. So another Colorado low will be coming through, developing off the foothills of Colorado, moving northeast over the weekend, and this is basically what we're looking at right now. So let's dive in through it because that could provide that could has the potential to bring more snow to the prairie provinces. So the first thing to look at always, in my opinion, is the low positioning. So here I'm just going to show you this, the European model depiction, so you can kind of have an idea of what we're going to try and find in the model data here. So this is by Saturday morning here. You can see this is just one model run here. We can go through the trend of the model. You can see that the question is not if a Colorado low will develop anymore, it's more what kind of impacts will it have. So you can see Colorado low develops over the weekend, moves through Nebraska, moves through South Dakota, and then moves traditional trajectory into Minnesota and to Northwest Ontario. So let's take ensemble models now to try and depict the low pressure. Where will it develop? So all these little L's are possible scenarios where the surface low pressure will develop uh, on Friday. And then it moves into Saturday into South Dakota. And you can see that the outline here is basically the average of the surface low positions. So we have a good idea. This is the European ensemble. The low will develop in northeast Colorado, move through Nebraska, and then move through South Dakota, and then move through the Grand Forks area. So now that's one ensemble. Let's look at the American GFS ensemble. You can see almost identical track of this low here. So what we know about low pressures is that, well, especially this time of year, so the cold sector in this area would be in northwest of the low. So in this particular situation, it would be, somewhere we would expect it somewhere across the Manitoba Saskatchewan border. So now if we pull, um, we can look at precipitation types here. So I'm just going to pull the GFS, so just to show you that hopefully I'm right here. All right, so you can see here the low pressure, it's somewhere in eastern North Dakota at this point, and you can see the axis of precipitation of snow in blue here into southeast, southwest Manitoba into western North Dakota. And the transition zone is somewhere in south central Manitoba, and then just rain in southeast Manitoba. Well, that's pretty much what we expect from this low positioning here. So one thing right off the bat that isn't the same at all as the previous system that we've seen is the amount of moisture. That's why I had this map here. So this is dew points, basically the amount of moisture available near the surface, and it's really lacking in areas where expected snowfall is in western North Dakota and to the prairie provinces. There's not a lot of moisture to work with here, so in my opinion, this is going to be more of a warm sector type of setup where it's going to be more of a severe supercell type of setup for the U.S., not so much for a huge snowmaker for the prairie provinces. But in an effort to keep you updated, let's look at the latest snowfall forecast for. Again, I'm going to use ensembles here, and I'm going to use a national blend after. But here, total snowfall. So this ensemble is showing up to 35 centimeters here in areas of pinks. So let's look at the American one. So the American one is going off the chart here. I don't think this is accurate at all. So let's look at the national blend. So national blend has the correct axis area for snowfall, and it's showing similar to the European up to 35 centimeters in some higher terrain regions near Dauphin and Manitoba. And again, southeast Manitoba should be all rain with the system here. So yeah, I could see 30 centimeters of snow, higher terrain around these, like on the Saskatchewan Manitoba border for sure. I could see that. So as the National Weather Service was saying, Colorado low will develop, but the difference is there's huge temperatures. There's a lot of temperature differences in very short. I'll show you here. So you can see that. Let's go back to Friday. Friday, it's gonna be really warm in Nebraska on this in the warm sector of this low here, and you can see the warm front ejecting. You can really clearly see the warm front here into Iowa, and then low pressures somewhere here in the Nebraska Panhandle at this point. So you can see that in the prairie provinces we're hovering around 0, -1, and Saturday we're above the freezing mark here, except in higher elevation areas. So Riding Mountain, Dauphin area, you can see that you're probably going to get some snow here on Saturday. And temperatures aren't really getting cold. So that's one thing that we had last weekend, is we had really cold temperatures, or fairly cold temperatures coming on the backside of the low and causing all kinds of blowing snow and blizzard conditions. So we're not going to have that with this system here. So it's going to be much more of a wet snow kind of system, and then it moves on pretty quickly here. So that's another thing. So the departure of the system, it's going to be a one-day event kind of thing. It's dump a bunch of wet, heavy snowflakes into western Manitoba, into eastern Saskatchewan, and then it moves on. And there's not going to be a huge contrast of temperature on the backside. So now if we let's look at surface wind. So this model here is saying that there's going to be some interesting wind gusts on the backside of this system here. So my theory at this point is that the snow is probably not going to be able to be blown around very well, because it's not going to be that cold. Yeah, so that's pretty much the update at this point. It's an interesting storm system. It kind of goes, my gut is saying that it's not going to be a big deal, but you can see the gradient here is pretty impressive, and it's a Colorado low, so you're going to get some snow, you're going to get some mixing, you're going to get some rain, and you're probably going to get some decent winds on the backside. But will it be a full-blown blizzard like last weekend? No, definitely not. It won't be that type of system. So let's just I'll try and keep you updated with the latest Environment Canada watches and warnings. The expected warnings with this will probably be snowfall warnings, maybe a few winter storm warnings here and there, and for western North Dakota, for sure winter storm watches and then winter storm warnings. I'm not sure if they're going to go blizzard warnings with this one, but we'll have to wait and see. The big thing will be the temperature and the moisture, in my opinion, for this system. So stay safe, guys, and hopefully we'll be talking about thunderstorms and no more of this snow.